It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Killer Food Plots,
Cabelas,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Treestands,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls, and
Badass Slingshots.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Adams, with Dan DeFault, and we are on the road again.
We are on the road, but a special road today.
Yeah, we took the road south.
We
and then
did.
east, and
almost ended up in the lake.
We almost ended up in Canada, to tell you the truth.
Almost.
We're what, a mile and a half away from Canada?
A couple of miles away from Canada, and but this is the grand opening down here at Chesterfield Township Cabelas, and we're here.
Yeah, we are inside the store. Actually, we're in here before they open, 2 hours before they open.
2 hours before they open, they got the music cranked up. The workers are restocking the shelves. We talked to a gentleman as we walked in, and he said they were pretty busy yesterday.
Yeah, this is actually Saturday morning right now. We were down here Thursday. For the live stream people, yes, I was very confused that day. I kept thinking it was Friday all day.
Yes, you were a little confused, but did we not have a good opener, weather-wise and everything?
Beautiful. Just like today, blue skies, not a cloud in the sky, no wind, no rain in sight, nothing, man. Just beautiful, beautiful weather. 80 degrees-ish that day. Crowds were unreal. And very civilized, I might add.
Very civilized. It was nice to see. They gave away some guns, made some people happy.
Absolutely.
They gave away some other stuff as well. They had a performer doing some country music. You saw on the live stream or heard?
Hodge. His last name's Hodge.
Hodge. I think it was Hodge. He did the national anthem.
Yep.
Did the national anthem. They had the Marine Corps cadets raise the flag.
Yeah, and I was hoping for a flyover because we're actually at the end of the runway of Selfridge Air Force Base.
We are, and you know what? They didn't quite do the flyover right then, but as we were leaving, they were flying over.
Yeah, they were. They had A-10 Warthogs, 4 of them flying formation, low, buzzing the deck.
Yep, that's their home base here at Selfridge. They got the A-10s here. They've been here for a few years now.
And that's the reason I did not fly the drone during the grand opening.
Yes, by law, you're not supposed to fly one by an airport within 5 miles, or you're supposed to give 90 days notice.
That's right. So, yeah, I didn't want UNJ-1 turned to ashes, so I did not fly it.
Right, exactly. So, but no, we are down here live. We're in the store early. I have yet to walk around this whole store yet.
You've not, have you?
I've been to
you
the west side of the store.
You've been on the hunting side. You've not checked out the fishing side yet.
No, I haven't. But I want to get over there.
You know, and they've got something we've yet to really check out here. But it's only in this store, brand new. It's the gun hub.
Yes, the gun hub that's supposed to give you a realistic effect of shooting a weapon of your choice.
Yeah, and you can do compare side-by-side comparisons. It's a digital display, and they've got sim guns there that you actually fire towards this display. And it's supposed to, like I said, we haven't really checked it out yet. I was watching a customer kind of use it.
Yeah, they were having some bugs with it.
Yeah, and they were working out, the Cabelas employee that was running it was working through it with them, but they were doing side-by-side comparisons. You can pull up, multiple different firearms, same caliber, same gauge, what have you, and do a cost analysis, shell capacity, the make, the mount, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's
we got to get into that and see what it all tells us because when we were here, obviously on Thursday, it was a little bit busy.
Right.
And they were having a little bit of issues with, there's 2 of them in the hub, and they're having issues with one of them, and the one that was kind of working, so we just kind of backed off a little bit and said, you know what, let them take care of it. So,
hey, I think we got somebody that might want to talk to us here. Sure. Jim Beauchamp, the manager of Cabelas. How you doing today?
Excellent. You?
I'm in a great place, man. How can you not be happy and be in this store?
I'll tell you what, coming to work every day, I love coming to work every day. So looking at the mounts, and the biggest thing is getting to talk to the customers. And, it's amazing how much our outfitters already know, but we learn so much from our customers. So still a learning process for everybody involved.
And that's the total experience here is learning from each other, sharing information back and forth. But tell us a little bit about your background in the outdoors or outdoor industry briefly and how you kind of got started with Cabelas.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I've lived in the Upper Peninsula for over 40 years, and moved out about 8 years ago. But my dad, back when I was 7 or 8 years old, bought a cabin for us and a place to hunt. And so we've been, our vacation every year wasn't going to Florida or Cancun or any of those places. Our vacation, when my dad took us out of school during that week, first week of opening gun season every year, to go up to camp and go hunting. We had the camp cook was my grandma, and she took care of us kids. Everybody went hunting when we were 7, 8 years old, and eventually we got that opportunity to go hunting on our own. At the same time, going out with our parents. When we had the chance, but it was a family camp. It was my mom, my dad, aunts, uncles. It was all about getting out in the woods and just enjoying the time and camaraderie with friends and family.
We're in the UP.
Gladstone, Michigan.
Gladstone. Okay.
Cabelas area.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I drive through there all the time.
So yeah. I've been hunting since I was, as soon as I could put a bow in my hand at 12 years old, and it's been hunting ever since. So my favorite thing to do now is bow hunting. I still do gun hunting and stuff, but it certainly isn't my passion anymore. My passion is bow hunting, and it's not even about shooting deer anymore. It's just getting in the woods and the peace of mind and sitting up in a tree and watching the squirrels and chipmunks and all this other wildlife go through, and it's just a beautiful time of the year in the fall. And if I get one, it's great, and if I don't, you know what? I still peace of mind and
you got it.
Time being in the woods.
It's always about the journey, I say. If we get to bring game home and put it in the freezer on the table, that's just icing on the cake for us.
Absolutely, I agree with you, man. There's not a better meat out there than the venison taste from the wild game. So yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you.
Yeah, our hunting cabin's in Crystal Falls.
Oh, no kidding. That's real close to, ours is actually in La Branch, our family camp. So from Crystal Falls, it's just down the road about 40 minutes. So.
Exactly. You just drive through La Branch as you're going through to Crystal Falls.
Absolutely, man.
So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, how did you get started with Cabelas?
Very interesting story. I left manufacturing. I was in the manufacturing world for 20 years, and our business went in the wrong direction. So I decided to go back to school and get my master's degree, and one of the teachers convinced me to go work for Walmart because they had the best supply chain in the world. So I went over to Walmart and worked there for 5 years, and I had two parents working for me, Linda and Bob Weeks, and their son actually was a district manager for Cabelas. And they kept asking me for my resume, and they said, you need to go work for Cabelas. And I'm like, it's a smaller company, a lot smaller than Walmart and stuff. But one day they convinced me to give me the resume, and I gave them the resume. And the next day I got a phone call from Chris McCool that their son hooked me up with in our region. And 2 weeks later I was working for Cabelas in Richfield, Wisconsin. And I'll tell you what, it is by far the best move I've ever made in a career change in my entire life. I work for the best company in the world, the best culture inside of the store. The morale is so high at all times. I mean, it's just this company, these two people, Dick and Mary, and actually Jim, 3 people, allow us to take care of our outfitters because they realize we're only as good as the people that work for us, and we treat them like gold, and at the same time, our outfitters treat me like gold. So I couldn't ask for a better team here in Chesterfield, and to be honest with you, every store I've been to has a great family culture. So they're more interested when somebody doesn't show up for work. It's not about, hey, I got to do extra work. It's about, what's wrong, what happened. They make the phone call.
More of a family atmosphere.
Oh, it's great. Just an unbelievable. So, yeah, I by far, and I'll say this to the day I die, but I got goosebumps right now even talking about it because it is such a great, great company.
And that's the thing. It's more of a family atmosphere instead of, you hear about the corporate world, right? It's A, B, C, D. No. Throw that out. It's more family. It's more about the individual.
And funny you say that. You're talking about the corporate world and stuff like that. We had the corporate team here a couple days ago, and they're just like us. They're just like one of us. They put their pants on the same way, and they treat us like that too. It's not, they don't come down here and scream and yell at you and say, they found something wrong in the store. No, it's about family, and thank you for working so hard and doing what you do for us. I mean, it's a very thankful company, and it's from the top to the bottom. It's just unbelievable to work for such a great company.
And that's why we love working with Cabelas. So, You got hired as the GM. What was your first reaction?
Working for Cabelas as a GM, it was a highlight of my career to work for such a great company that I already knew was a great company. And my first opportunity was going down to work in Charleston as a GM, Charleston, West Virginia. So walking into that store, and the first day I got there, the employees were just awesome, welcomed me in, and I couldn't ask for a better first store to go to down in Charleston, West Virginia, and now getting an opportunity to come back to my home state, Michigan, and be a GM here for such a great team here. So, man, I couldn't be more thankful and more happy, and just enjoy coming to work every day.
Well, this is the fourth store in Michigan, and we're here in Chesterfield. For people that are listening to the show that don't know, we're right on the edge of Lake St. Clair. Why Chesterfield? Why this location?
So what they were doing and what they did is they did a lot of analytics and seen that we had so many online orders over here and stuff like that. So what they decided to do, even though we have a store in Saginaw and we have a store in Dundee that was within an hour and a half of here, they decided, man, with all the great customers over here that with the Cabelas, they love the Cabelas brand, we better put one up over here. And I'll tell you what, they were right on the money, because this week has been an unfreaking believable week with all the customers that come in here. And the nice thing about our customers, they're always so happy because they come in to buy fun and stuff like that. We have a great client. We have great customer clients that are just unbelievable. So we're very thankful to be in this area, and I'm thankful to be back home in Michigan and be around friends and family and just awesome, especially Lake St. Clair being so close. I mean, I never knew about Lake St. Clair until, I got here, and man.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
What an unbelievable lake for so many different species. And, I'm listening to, I hired this fly fishing guy that goes out, he was going out fishing in the beginning. Man, the guy's catching 40, 50 walleye each day. He obviously only keeps his limit, but man, it's just unbelievable how many, every day he was catching that. And it's like, man, I got to go out there with this dude.
Exactly, isn't it? I mean, yeah, and it's a mile away, right?
So, so I went and bought my boat, and so I haven't had a chance to use it yet because I've been so busy, but I'll tell you what, as soon as this next week's done, I'll be out on a lake with my new boat, so I'm pretty pumped.
But, you said something, and I've heard it so many times before. We sell fun. You get to sell fun to people, and that's just a great experience, and we're happy to be a part of it. But I want to talk about the store when they had the concept of building here. From the time of that concept until you guys opened the door Thursday to the general public, what kind of time frame are we talking?
Well, I hired my managers on May 8th. We soon, in the beginning of June, we hired our staff to teach and train, because we're a company that doesn't believe in just hiring people, putting them into their spots. We teach and train. We spend a lot of time in training with these guys and going over different things, so that way, not that they're complete experts yet, because they're not, and they know that, but at the same time, they got a great base underneath them because of all the experts we do have in the store. And the nice thing about that is they're willing to learn, and the experts we do here want to teach and train. And again, they know too that our customers have so much to offer and teach and train already that it's amazing to get to hear all the stories and stuff like that. So the other nice thing is most companies don't allow the outfitters or the new employees to actually put up their store and put everything on the shelf. So that was another way of teaching and training our people where everything's at and stuff like that. So it's a little longer process than normal for most people when they put up a store, for most retailers, but I'll tell you what, it pays off in the long run. It's just been an unbelievable journey this last 12 weeks.
Well, we really appreciate you opening your doors and allowing us in and being a part of this great experience. I couldn't think of a better place to be right now than the grand opening Chesterfield store.
Well, in August.
Well, yeah, because come October, November, I'm going to be in a tree stand.
I'm with you there, but yeah, no, it's awesome. This weekend is going to be a great time about friends and family and letting all the kids come in and do we got a ton of different events outside for all the kids, the BB gun ranges, archery ranges, and so many other things. And it's going to be a great weekend, and we got all the pro staffers here, like with you guys and stuff. And I'll tell you what, this is probably one of the best pro staffing events that we've ever had for a grand opening. We have just great pro staffers here today, which I'm excited for our customers to hang out with you guys and just be part of the great experiences and learn from you guys. So I can't thank you guys enough for coming in here today and let me be a part of your program too. So thank you so much.
Hey, not a problem. It was our pleasure. We're going to let you go when you're busy. I seen you pushing out carts of stuff here, getting ready. We're only, an hour and a half, an hour away from the store open. So it's 8 o'clock. Yeah, an hour away. So we're going to let you go, Jim. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
You take care.
You guys have a good day. Thank you.
Wow. Selling fun, man.
You know what? He's got a point there.
You can sell fun.
Some places you go and you regretfully go to.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go do this.
Yeah.
Here it's like, okay, where do I have to go and what do I need? I don't know, but let's go find something.
Right.
Or how many times have you walked in and said, I'm here for this. Oh, but wait, I could really use that.
Right.
And all of a sudden your little cart of 1 is now 10. And
yeah. Well, when I'm over at Dundee and I'm working over there, so many times I'll ask a customer, and they'll be carrying a little basket, and I was like, help you find something? And they tell me what they're looking for. And I was like, if you need a shopping cart, we can get you one. And I said, actually, we can get you 2, and I'll help you fill it.
There you go. Exactly.
So, But I tell you what, why don't we step outside, we take our first break here, we come back, we'll talk more about this great store. So we're going to take a commercial break real quick, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show, sitting in Cabelas, hanging out. The doors just open. People are filing in, man. What a great day.
Nothing like passing out 50 hats.
Right on, man. Give away some swag, and you know me, man. I love swag.
You love your swag. Yes, you do.
But you actually got somebody standing here that you want to talk to.
I do, yeah. You know, one thing the Cabelas boast, as we talked about in our previous segment, is the outfitters.
Right on.
And matter of fact, lo and behold, I found the wrench himself.
Mr. Good Wrench?
Well, he is a good wrench. A good wrench on bows. Chris Schner, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are the lead technician in the archery department.
Yep, that's my job. They brought me in here to make sure that everything we're doing is going out the door fully prepared and tuned up, ready to go, and also do a little bit of training so we can make sure our outfitters know exactly what they're doing and can help make sure everything's set up properly for everybody.
There's nothing better than having confidence that somebody's working on your bow, that they know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And there's something we're in August here. We're heading into for Michigan bow season. It's coming up. Pretty much everybody's going to be starting off here in September, October. What are you looking at for people to think about their bows right now?
So really, right now is the time where people should really be getting their stuff out, taking a good look, and maybe knocking the dust off the bowstrings a little bit, seeing what's going on with their equipment. One awesome thing about Cabelas that we do here is all of our tech services are free. So bringing your bow in for a safety inspection, kind of seeing if everything's in time, making sure it's in good condition, it's kind of the time to do that, making sure you got plenty of opportunity to prepare yourself for the hunting season.
Moral of the story is don't wait till the day before season before you think about that.
Right on. And you get out there and you find out something's broke or something's not right with your bow.
And it has happened.
Looking at a bow, what's probably the most overlooked thing? Is it the string people overlook?
Yeah, I think the most overlooked thing is probably either the bowstring or even the arrow rest.
Okay.
Arrow rests wear out. Whisker biscuits have always been a fantastic rest, but they're a wear item. Bowstrings as well. A couple of the bows, especially like the PSE models, have awesome features on them that have like a timing indicator on the cams.
Right
so
on.
we can see right away if something's going on. Even the end consumer can see what's going on. And a lot of bows are kind of moving towards that as well. You're seeing those things. But bowstring only lasts about 2 years, in all honesty, before you should probably start looking at what's going on with that.
And that's if you're shooting like you should be, correct?
Well, either or. I mean, proper bow storage is important. Bowstring wax is cheap, but it's overlooked.
Okay.
A little bit of wax here and there during that storage time can go a long ways.
Okay. Storing it in a cool, dry place. You don't want it stored in some place that's
An attic
where it's hot.
Exactly.
In the trunk of your car where it's hot, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, bow storage is very important. A lot of guys will keep them in the garage, and going through wintertime, going through summertime, you're getting huge heat fluctuations. And having it not be in use for that period of time can do a lot to it as well. It's important to kind of get it out, play with it here and there throughout the year. I mean, personally, I'm a tournament shooter, so if my bow collects dust, I'm hurt, so I'm not out there shooting. With the store opening, I think I do have a little bit of a layer of dust on my bow, so don't tell anybody that.
You know what? That's a great question that I wanted to ask you. Your background as a technician of working on bows, but you said you're a tournament shooter.
Yes.
What tournaments are you shooting?
So I'm primarily an NFAA shooter. So I shoot in the NFAA Pro class. So I travel out to the Vegas shoot, indoor nationals. Schedule this year didn't allow me to do the outdoor nationals with the store opening. We had a lot of work here, but that's a typical circuit that you'll see me on. I'll shoot all the state and local stuff as well. Try to hit absolutely everything. But don't dabble too much in 3D. I think I got my start in 3D, so I did a lot there, but I haven't done it for a while. For some reason, my eyes don't see yardage very well, so I rely heavily on the clicker box to tell me what's going on. So,
Gotcha.
But that's something we're dabbling in next year. A couple of us are going in on a 3D course and put a little bit of practice in and seeing what we can do on the ASA circuit and IAA as well.
Okay. Speaking of the Outdoor Nationals, did you happen to catch a live stream from PSC yesterday? They had a grand unveiling. We have to mention that we're with PSC, but they unveiled 3 bows down there.
I did. So the unveil was at 6:30 yesterday. Don't tell my boss this. But I did take a break right around there and caught a little bit of it. And then on my way home last night, I replayed it. But those 3 new bows are amazing. The Evolve cam system that they're using on that bow is phenomenal. I mean, fortunately, we don't sell it here. But that Evolve cam system is pretty amazing. I mean, you got let-off options and tuning options on that thing that are pretty phenomenal.
It is awesome. We just got ours this year, and I tell you what, I can't say enough for them, man. They're lights out.
They are. And you know what? They unveiled those 3 bows last night, and I was watching the people down there, and I just can't wait to get them in our hands to shoot. We'll have to get Dan on the phone and get a hold of him.
Absolutely.
Now, with that being said, you've got some, besides Cabelas, you do something else as well.
Yeah, so my wife and I, and actually a young lady named Holly Stover, are putting together a program called Archer's Paradox. So Archer's Paradox is a youth archery program. That's kind of where it started. We work on focusing and developing youth archery programs around the state. So if you've got a JOAD program, a club program, something like that you want to get going or want to get started, that's what we're here to do. We're here to help and support that. On the side note to that, we kind of found a need for a more family-oriented, more shooter-oriented tournament circuit. We saw the success that IAA had this year. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's a 3D circuit that Sierra Lafada started this year. And the success from that has been phenomenal. They're averaging like 200 to 300 shooters a weekend. I mean, and for 3D in Michigan, we're a big 3D state. We're not seeing those numbers in IBO and ASA. Wow. So kind of piggybacking off what he's doing, making it more shooter-focused, more club-focused, more family-focused events is really what we're doing, but we're going to try to do it on the FIDA side, so the target side. So introducing a couple more events, maybe a couple indoors, a couple outdoors as well. Payouts, something we're not typical to FIDA, which is important to shooters who are paying a $40, $50 entry fee. They want something back at the end of the day.
Get their money back.
So that's kind of like the style of tournament that Dan and I shot a couple weeks ago down in Ohio.
Yeah. So Dan took you guys down there. Dan Yassa took you guys down there for that, and that was that outdoor FIDA field, right?
Yeah, FIDA field.
Yeah. So did you guys shoot unknown yardages on that as well? Oh
yeah, that's all we shot. Actually, we shot Saturday unknown, and yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we want to do, as well as like just the stand-up FIDA stuff, where you're just single distance or multi-distance.
Gotcha.
I'm a big fan of the multi-distance, so shooting from 100 yards down to 30 yards over 2 days is a lot of fun, and it really kind of tests where you're at. So.
Absolutely.
That it does.
What are you laughing at, Dan?
No. Flashbacks, not good. But so that's coming up. You'll have to keep in touch with us, and we'll tell everybody about more when it comes out. We'll get you back on the show when you got some events coming up. We'll have to pay a visit and come out and see the events.
Absolutely. And everything that you've got over in the archery department is from a beginner up to a guy who's getting out ready that needs a last-minute item to get in the field to get into his tree stand. You guys got the full line across the board from the rest, the arrows, everything you need to get out in the field, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything we got here is what you're going to need to get out there. We've got an excellent set of broadheads up here. The bows are top-notch. We've got anything for anybody.
And a range.
Yeah, there is a range for you to try stuff out.
So set it up.
I'm a big believer in you don't buy a car without driving it, so why would you buy a bow without shooting it?
Absolutely.
So we've got a great little range in there. It's not very long. It's about 12 yards, so you can't really miss. But it's enough for you to really get a feel and sensation for it as well.
Absolutely. So stop in down here at Cabelas in Chesterfield. Come on in, see the whole crew back here, and get set up.
Absolutely.
So anything else that you want to run by them?
No, I just want to remind everybody, get on down here to Chesterfield and come check out all the bow stuff.
All right. Well, we don't want to get you in trouble.
Right.
Jim's lurking around here somewhere. We had him on earlier, so we want to make sure you get back there. So, all right. Well, thanks for stopping in, and we're going to step outside and take a break. We'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Back and play. We are inside Cabelas, segment 3 of the podcast. We're actually live streaming.
We are live
as well.
streaming this to the people out there who are not inside the building yet.
Yeah, so we're up close and personal here in your face. I almost don't, that view, man, looking up my nose. Let's move this back a little bit here, please. Kind of creepy. I don't like seeing Dan that close to me. Here, I'm going to adjust the camera as well. So I'm going to tilt it just a little bit, and hopefully it doesn't fall over there. It would suggest this. I think tomorrow I'm going to bring that other stand that we normally
that'd
use.
be a good idea.
I was thinking that while Danny's running around looking for something to put this thing on.
Hey, stand would be a great idea.
Yeah, it would
right?
be. So.
All right. So we are live here at Cabelas, and we're going to talk a little bit archery.
Yeah, absolutely. We had Jason, I'm sorry, Jason Radecki. He's actually watching.
Yeah.
Jacob Abrams.
Yes.
Posted a question to us a while back.
He posted a question, but first things first. It is the month of August, and in the month of August, we promote tree stand safety.
Yep, tree stand safety awareness. So we want to talk a little bit about that. You want to do that first?
Yeah, let's do that first because that's where there he is.
Oh, hey, Jake. Yeah, hey. You going to head down after you get off work? Good. We'll be here.
We'll be here till 5.
5 o'clock, so hopefully you get out of work before then.
Right. So, yeah, the month of August is tree stand safety awareness. Number one thing out there is be safe. For those of you have the old Michigan type tree stand, as we're referring it to,
yeah,
like
we got one right
here.
back here, actually, like over here. You know, we posted a picture of it.
Right, we got where you do the old 2x4s or whatnot, nails and stuff that you got up in the tree. It's been up there for a few years. Please
don't do that.
If you do that, get up there. Be careful. Check it out. Don't look at it on October 1st as you're climbing up in the dark.
Yeah, and actually in the state of Michigan, you cannot put anything into a tree.
On public land, you cannot do that.
Yeah,
Private land, there's some pretty nice ones.
Yeah, you can build your fortress. But
be careful when you're climbing up there. Be careful when you're checking out the nails, the old 2x4s that you might be using, reinforcements.
Screws, whatever.
Right, check for rust in the screws. Very important.
My dad fell off a tree stand and broke his leg or his
Did
ankle.
He?
Yeah.
I fell out of a tree stand. I was actually climbing into a tree.
Yeah, years ago. I mean, I was, I don't know, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, somewhere right around that time frame. And, him and his buddy both were actually up north hunting the same weekend, and I got a call from the Standish Hospital in Gladwin County, Michigan.
Nice.
You need to come get your dad and his buddy. And I'm like, what happened? They're like, well, they said they fell out of a tree stand. My dad had a busted ankle, and his buddy had broken ribs.
Oh, man, I tell you.
They both fell out on the same night. Actually.
And every year we hear horror stories.
People getting killed.
Laying in the woods for hours.
Good buddy of ours, Clint Turner down in Illinois, his tree stand gave way on him. It was a different situation, but still, he fell out of tree stand, and his back was messed up for a long time. You know, it's nothing to joke around about. You know, Dan, you got a safety harness.
Right. First things first. Right here, as you can see. Here, let me switch phones.
Switch phones. Switch arms.
Microphones.
Okay.
There we go. Right here for less than $100.
Yep.
This one is a Cabelas exclusive hunter safety system, ultra light elite safety harness.
Yep.
For less than $100, getting this into your tree, getting hooked into the tree is definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's like, you know, what's your life worth? You know, I mean, is your life worth $100? These things, you know, are worth their weight in gold. You know, you've got the straps around the legs and the back end. It's comfort fitting. But I tell you what, if you fall, You want one of those that wraps around your legs, between your legs.
That's right, because back in the day when comfort,
hey, Jeff Collins,
when comfort wasn't kind of the thing, they had the ones that would go around your waist, basically.
Right.
And basically, if you fell, it kind of cut the circulation off your legs.
Right.
These you can upside down, right side up. They're comfortable. They're all the pressure points on the body that is worth its weight in gold to spend. In this case, less than $100 to get something that gives you the peace of mind. Once you get up there, you get locked in, you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and there's plenty of climbing ropes that you can use as well. That as you're going up and down, making sure that it's got the slip fall attachment to it, so that way if you do happen to slip as you're climbing up or down, that you don't happen to fall down and get hurt that way as well.
Correct,
so.
And that's one of the things is, you know, that's another thing, making sure you're climbing up into your tree stand, whether you're going up on branches, steps, a ladder. Make sure to check those as well, because those could get slippery with your boots.
Absolutely. So it's a big deal, man. Just you got to be safe up there. You know, once you're in the tree stand, you know, I use the Family Traditions tree stands, and those things are so comfortable. I hate to say it, but you can almost fall asleep.
They are very comfortable. I was hunting in one last year, and there's one thing I did notice. It was very comfortable, but also you felt the condition of the tree stand and having the harness on, you felt very safe up there. And we want to see you people back here listening to the podcast in one piece.
Absolutely. You don't want to be falling out. But if you do happen to fall asleep, and we've heard people doing that too, you get out there, you know.
It gets relaxing.
Yeah, you get relaxed. You've eaten breakfast. You've had your coffee or whatever. You know, you kind of went out, and you get settled down. You watch the sunrise. Next thing you know, it's, 9, 10 o'clock, and you're dozing, and you're fighting to keep your eyes awake. And the last thing you want to do is doze off in a tree stand and not have a safety harness on. And wind up on the ground when you do wake up.
Right,
if
exactly.
You wake up,
and the hopes is that if you do, you're able to get to the phone or somebody will come find you.
Right.
But yeah, number one thing for the month of August we want to promote is safety, safety, safety.
And also putting up your tree stands, whether it be a ladder stand or a hang-on stand, check all the bolts on them, make sure they're tight, they're ready to rock and roll. Have somebody with you when you're putting them up.
Yes.
I put my ladder stands up. I can put them up by myself, but I always like to have somebody with me. Even though I can't put them up by myself, I still like to have somebody there just in case something does happen.
That's a very good thing about having somebody with you as well. Whether you're, you can they can help you in so many ways besides getting the tree stand up, being your safety line.
Absolutely.
Making sure that, hey, don't step there. You can, being another set of eyes on the situation.
Yep. Make sure the tree that you're hooking to is a good, solid, live tree that doesn't have dead limbs above you. Make sure that it's not a diseased tree. We've talked about on the show, we've got oak wilt on our property, and now, the ridges that I hunt, and it's oak ridge, I've got to start really paying attention to what trees I'm putting my ladder stand into.
I had one of those. I had a stand up in a tree, and I went out there, and the tree was laying down on the ground.
Yeah, so
stand and all, and it was like, glad I wasn't in there.
Right on.
Now that's something you can't control, is when the tree actually entirely blows over.
Yeah.
Roots and all went up, but yeah.
And that's another thing. You talk about hunting Michigan swamps around here. We've had a lot of rain lately. When you put a tree stand up, look at the ground structure around you and the root systems. Because we've all seen these trees in swamps where, you see the whole root ball.
The whole root ball goes
sticking up in the air where they've blown over because of soft ground.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that, you never know when it's going to happen, but you got to look at it. Another thing to look at in the woods when you're walking around, your surroundings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matter of fact, that's a good, besides the tree you're in, like you said,
around you.
Runs around you. Kind of get a feeling for what those trees might be wanting to do.
Yep.
You can never predict it, but it's just...
don't need a widowmaker.
Don't need a widowmaker. Absolutely. And even if you're doing a ground blind, same thing. If you're putting a ground blind up, kind of take a peek at those trees above you.
Absolutely.
You don't need to be sitting in there and have a nice 12-inch birch come crashing
down
through.
on you. Yeah, absolutely.
So, but number one thing, folks, get out there, be safe when you're getting in the tree stand.
So, talking about tree stands, usually we're usually archery hunting when we're talking tree stands. I do use mine during rifle season occasionally, or black powder season. But Dan, you got some other products we're using here this year.
A question was asked was, what types of broadheads do you guys prefer?
Charles.
what kind of shots you like to take on your deer and stuff like that. So we'll start from the front of the arrow and we'll work back. How's that?
Right on.
First thing, Mike likes the Montec. This is the crossbow design, but they do have the regular for the regular archery as well. So they got that in fixed blade.
Yep, this is a fixed blade broadhead, cut on contact, three blade. This is a stainless steel. They also make it in carbon steel. I prefer the stainless steel. 100 grains. That's what I shoot on mine. I've killed, I don't know, 2 or 3 different deer with this style broadhead, or these actual make and model. But G5 makes some great products. And actually, they're a Michigan company. They're right up the road here in over near Port Huron.
Yes, so about an hour north of here.
Yeah. Is it Goodles, Michigan? Is that where they're at?
Why does it ring a bell?
Over in that area. But anyway,
yep.
It's a Michigan company, American
Memphis,
Michigan. That's right, Memphis, Michigan. So.
And I like to use the T3s, which are an expandable bladed broadhead. Mm-hmm. I've used these on crossbows, and I've used these on regular arrows. So we both kind of shoot a little bit something different, but we're comfortable shooting them.
Right.
These that I shoot here fly like a broadhead, so if you tuned in your broadheads, these are pretty close. I've shot...
Fly like a field point.
Thank you. Fly like a field point. So, shooting these, I've shot those out of a crossbow. I've also shot them out of my regular bow. Shot placement on a deer when you get to them.
That was the question that was proposed.
That was the actual question.
Shooting out of a tree stand.
Now, there are a ton of broadheads out on the market. These are just 2 of ones we use. Mm-hmm. Actually, I use a Cabelas branded 3-blade as well when I don't have these around. But yeah, best thing to do is if you're going to try it is go buy them and shoot them.
Absolutely.
Don't buy them off the rack and then go out to the woods and start shooting.
Right.
Kind of got to know what your broadhead wants to do for you, especially on fixed blade.
Yeah. On my fixed blade, I'll typically when it comes close to season, I'll actually tune my my arrow, my fletchings. I try to get them tuned to the actual the way the broadhead is actually mounted onto the arrow, so they're flying together. But I also shoot them at foam. That way I know where they're hitting. I'll be practicing all year long shooting my field points and getting my bow set up. And then I want to shoot my setup of what I'm actually going to do with my broadheads.
Right, exactly.
Shoot them into foam. And actually what's nice about the carbon steel version of the Montec, these are the stainless steel, but the carbon steel, they've got a practice head. So it's not razor sharp, but it's going to fly and it's not going to tear your foam all to pieces. So when you're shooting into a foam block.
Exactly. But and then we use our Black Eagles.
Yep.
We got those. So
what are you shooting this year?
I am shooting the Renegades.
Okay, that's the heavy cylinder arrow, right?
Right.
And it's got the outsert on it.
And yes, and you're shooting the zombies, right?
I'm shooting the zombies right now. I've also got the vintage and the Renegades, and I'm not sure. I've shot the Renegades one time, and I do notice that they are heavier, even though they look smaller,
right?
Or smaller diameter,
But they're a little stiffer.
Yeah, it's going to take a different setup, adjustment on my sights to try to
right,
to
exactly,
get them to
and
hit the bull.
That's another thing that's important when you're talking archery. If you got a dozen arrows, use 6 for target practice, and then use the other 6 for hunting.
Yeah, but still shoot the 6 that you're going to use for hunting. Make sure they're going to fly right. One trick guys use, they'll actually draw a number 1 through 12 if they got a dozen, or 1 through 6, a half dozen, on one of the fletchings.
Yep, they number their arrows.
Shoot them, and if you got 3 that are grouping together real nice, set them. That's what you want to use for your hunting arrows. That way you can tell if you've got a flyer, one that's not just matched just right and it's giving you a little grief. Or, and it helps tell you that if your groupings are tight, you're not trying to figure out, well, did I pull that shot? Or is it the same arrow that's flying maybe high left all the time?
Because you might have an arrow that's just a little bit different,
Yep.
Whether it be the weight, the fletching, anything that's on that arrow could be just a tad different, and it's doing something different to the other arrows.
It depends on the tolerances of what you're shooting, as far as your arrow tolerances and what you pay for them. I mean, obviously, they say you get what you pay for. The tolerances are obviously tighter on an arrow that costs you a bit more.
Right, exactly. So now you've got that set up. Where to shoot a deer? Pretty tough.
In the woods.
Good answer. Or not with a front fender?
No, actually, I met six deer this morning.
Oh, did you? That's right. You were telling me
Yeah.
you met a couple on the way over.
Yeah, over to pick Danny up in the road, and they didn't want to leave, so had to skirt around them a little bit.
It happens, but broadside shots are nice.
Yeah,
Do
doesn't
they
always
all
happen.
Exactly. Second, number one would be a broadside shot right behind the shoulder. Going through the shoulder blade is not recommended.
Nope, not recommended, but it can be done depending on what your shot availability is. You know, if that's what you got, and I'm not going to tell people where they got to shoot at, but you know, I'm the type that I'm going to wait for that good open shot and not try to rush it. But you know, people do shoot through shoulders. You know, and will it take down deer? Yeah, it breaks them down pretty good. It's just it's a lot tougher. You know,
right?
I'm going to go for the double lung, you know, typically, or if I've got a good open heart shot, you know, and I'm not real high up and the angle's not real steep and I'm shooting, you know, fairly flat, then I'm going to try to take that heart shot.
Right, exactly. And another good shot is the quartering away shot, but not too extreme on the quartering away.
Yeah.
That can be a hit or miss.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and typically when I'm aiming, you know, and shooting out of a tree stand, the one thing I'm aiming is I'm aiming through the deer. I'm actually trying to imagine a point on the other side of the deer, on the opposite side. You know, if he's facing, let's say he's facing towards Dan, and I'm shooting down at him, so I'm looking at his right side. I'm actually aiming to the left side of the deer, imagining where I want that arrow to pass through. And drawing that imaginary line in my mind, and that's kind of where I'm judging to aim. You know, the steeper the angle, the higher on the deer you're going to hit, and the less vital. You know, you might clip the top of the lung and the bottom of the lung if you're shooting at a real extreme angle. So, you know, those are some things to think about.
Right, absolutely.
You know, my daughter shot a deer, her first deer she killed, at 11 yards, and it was tight. You know, we were 14, 15 foot up in a box blind. And it was a pretty steep angle, and she wound up actually clipping the top and the back side of punching through the diaphragm. It was on a quartering away. Went through the diaphragm and come out down low on the left side front shoulder.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you can tell how that was a steep angle.
Right.
And probably actually I should have let her, shoot when it was further out. You know, it's just it's one.
It is what it is because you can shoot a deer at look at how close we were at the FIDA on that target.
On that stand?
On that stand when we were at 38 degrees incline, right?
Right. You could see the angle. You could see the pictures we took and posted. You could see how steep the angle was where our arrow was impacting the target. So.
Right. And then the other shot is not typically to do is in the hind quarter.
No.
There's a there's an artery back.
Femoral artery, yeah.
There is an artery back there that if you clip it,
they're going to bleed out.
That deer will go down pretty quick, but it's not a guaranteed shot.
It's not recommended.
It's happened a couple times to a couple people I know, and both times, one was it bled out really quick and we found it really fast, and the second one was it went a little bit, but we found it.
Yeah. In a front brisket shot, through the front chest, that's a pretty tough shot as well. Breaking down through the top of that rib cage and hitting vitals that way. It's just you want that broadside shot. I mean, obviously that's what we're all looking for.
Broadside,
the quartering away shot, whether it be left or right. You want to aim back a little more, not directly at a heart shot, but you want to aim back a little more so you clip both lungs going through.
Right. A broadside shot gives you the best field of view and the most accommodating for errors.
Yep.
If you pull a little bit or a little bit high, a little bit low, you're right there still. Other ones, you get into a little bit higher percentage of problems if you start missing.
Yep. Yeah. It's you get those side view shots, you're letting the air out of the lungs. I mean, that's basically what we're going for. Unless you can hit them right in the pump house and destroy the heart and get them to bleed out quick. So.
Right. Exactly. So another thing, what's really nice nowadays is these 3D targets.
Mm-hmm.
You can pull out your 3D target and you can actually set it up in a situation where you think you're going to have.
Yeah.
Whether you can set up the quartering away shot, you can set up the front shot, you can set those all up on a 3D deer and practice it. And it would be good not just standing 90 degrees shooting down at a target.
Right.
Get that target out, start moving it around. What I plan to do here in my backyard in the tree stand.
You've got a forest in your backyard.
Yeah, in the tree stand is I got some targets. I'm just going to start walking through the woods. I'm just going to drop them off at various points, go back to the tree stand, climb up, and shoot.
Yeah, right.
Just different distances and angles and stuff like that. Matter of fact, you probably should come over, and we'll come over and do a show, and we'll do that.
We can do that. We can live stream from right out the back door.
We can do it right from the tree stand.
Up in the tree stand, right on.
So, but practice, and practice with your equipment.
Something else too is when he's talking about setting different distances out and things. When you're in your tree stand, know your effective range. Is it 20, 10 to 20 yards? Is it 20 to 30 yards? 30, whatever you've been practicing at, and you feel proficient at shooting. Another thing I like to do when I get at my tree stand early in the season is I'll range different distances and try to figure out where my effective range ends and pick out landmarks. Okay, that's at 20 yards, that's at 30, and that's at 40. And then do that in a sweeping circle around you in your shooting lanes. I know another guy who takes and does the same thing, but he puts flags out. Like he'll put a yellow flag out at 10. He'll put an orange flag at 20 and a red flag at 30. And he'll do that all around his tree stand so he can see where the deer's moving through those areas.
Actually, that's a good idea. And if you really paid attention, you probably could put the same color ribbon with the same color pin on your bow.
Absolutely. You could do it that way. You could tie it to a tree limb. You could tie it around a tree. Those are all ways to be able to do those types of things. And that way you're not guessing. Okay, like we did, like we had to do.
Oh, like we guessed at the shoot?
At the shoot, yeah, on the unknown distances, and you're playing that in your mind. And that's the one thing it's the hardest thing for us hunters to do, unless you do it consistently on a consistent basis, is being able to judge distances and know in your mind without putting a rangefinder up. So.
Exactly. And another tip is if you're mentoring somebody, make sure they know as you're teaching them, exactly what Mike said, their effective range for their bow poundage.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
A younger person or an older person shooter a lighter bow, their effective range may only be out to 30 yards.
Yeah. Or maybe 20 yards. I wouldn't let my daughter shoot anything over 20 yards.
Right. See, there you go. You knew the effective range, and that's what you held her to. Now, you'll see people out there shooting 60, 70, 80 yards at animals, but they've practiced them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's
in
not just
case you're like somebody that we know that shot an elk at 108 yards and smiled.
Yeah.
But he practices that shot.
But that's the thing. He practiced it back then, and to this day, he's out shooting animals still.
God, stacking them like cordwood.
Yeah, he was. He had a good time in Africa.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. But so that's kind of basically the wrap up on all our archery and safety, especially definitely safety when you're getting up in that tree stand. Safety when you are holding your broadheads.
Yep. You want to make sure that you got those things encapsulated in a quiver.
In a quiver, and when you're putting them on, folks, they give you a wrench, or if you got a wrench, use it. Don't try it with the bare finger thing. My little utility box has got
one built in
that I use because I had a relative of mine kind of do it bare fingered, and they ended up in the hospital.
Yeah, there you go.
So be careful; those are sharp.
Live to hunt another day.
You got it.
So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for this segment. We're going to step outside, take a break. We're going to actually sign off as well here on the live stream. So,
but we'll be back.
We're going to be here all day, here till 5 o'clock Saturday at Green Cabelas. Just like Jim Beauchamp said, we're selling fun.
We are.
Can't get any better than that. We're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this on the podcast. And for those of you on the live stream, stay tuned. We'll be back later.
I shoot PSE because I like one pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet.
I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Hey, we're back to the last segment of the podcast this Saturday. Get my days right finally.
You're getting the days right. That's good.
That's what happens when you have no sleep for about a week. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We're back live here in Chesterfield, Michigan, at the new Cabelas, and people are starting to file in now.
It's getting busy. We had a good 100 people at the door.
Yeah, easily. So,
and now,
hey Andy, hey Jason,
and now there's people filing in, and it's picking up. It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
just before noon.
So, we had an interesting.
We just had an interesting conversation.
So we thought we'd finish the show with that. Here we got about maybe 5-6 minutes left that we thought we'd go live. And
hello, Andy.
Guy talked about having a cabin up on the Manistee River here in Michigan.
Right, and he likes to do the trout fishing thing.
Yeah, and he said lately, here in the past years, that the boat guides inundate the area, bringing people up, up the river and fishing, hitting the holes. And now he's to the point where there's no fish to be found.
Right, and Jason Radecki out there, who's watching on the live stream, probably can relate to this because he's up in that area. He's a little east of where this gentleman is because he was over on the west side of Grayling.
Right.
But, it's gotten to that point where, you go up north, do some fishing, everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
But now everybody, he said there was 40, 50 outfitters.
Right.
Bringing, paying money to come do this fishing. And he tried last weekend. He didn't even get a bite.
Right.
And he walks out his dock. He's got one guy anchored to the east, one guy anchored to the west.
Yeah.
And
one
in the middle,
in front. Yeah.
And then they're arguing who's got whose spot.
Right. My spot.
Right.
We talked about the my spot deal, and we're talking about a main river here in Michigan that has native trout in it.
Right, exactly. And, you're just sitting there, and you kind of feel sorry for this guy in a way because here he is. He spent the money to buy that land. He says he's got 1,800 feet on the river, so he's enjoying it. And here, these people come down, which is their right. It's a public waterway.
Yep.
But I can only imagine the arguing that went on.
Right. Well, the thing I said to him, and it just kind of dawned on me. We talk about wildlife management, and that's something that Danny and I are passionate about. We're really getting into, and we're, usually we're talking deer, we're talking turkeys, we're talking, bear, whatever are the species that we're chasing. And you go to other states, you have to wait to get a tag. Here in Michigan, for a bear tag, it's taken me 9 years to get a tag in my area. Actually, I'm not hunting this year. To get a tag, that's about what it takes, nine years in the area that I hunt. And it's management. And this gentleman brought up the fact that maybe the river, what they need to do is hold a draw, like a lottery draw, for these guides to be able to only bring so many up at a time.
Right,
exactly.
Instead of, and that's the
free-for-all.
Exactly. Manage it. Right?
Yeah, manage it. So manage your fish.
Like he said, the last few years it's been getting thin on the trout that he's getting.
Yeah, so, I guess that's the question we're posing here is for you, the listeners out there and people on the live stream. What do you think about a lottery draw or a point system to get on a body of water for
right,
maybe
exactly.
a trophy-style fish?
Right, and he did say that the local conservation club has come in. They got a grant from the DNR, and they've gone into the river now, and they've put structure in to do habitat. Kind of keep restoration and keep it going. So that's a good thing. But is that able to keep up with the amount of fishing people on the river?
Yeah, I don't know. So that's the kind of the question is that something that is doable, number one? Is it something that people would be open to if you had a body of water, whether it be a stream or a lake, where you could put in, maybe it's a daily draw you go into, much like the Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge.
Right, exactly.
For the waterfowl, you go up into, let's say there's 60 spots in that refuge for waterfowl, and 75 people show up. That means 15 are going home. It's just the way it works.
And everybody knows that.
A bingo draw.
Right, and everybody understands the rules.
Yeah. Is that something that might be advantageous for these bodies of water, these blue ribbon trout streams,
especially with the amount of people now that are getting into the outdoors, and it's not, in the time away they go up north. That's getting out there. There's more and more people doing it, so we're going to have to also watch that.
Yeah, on the opposite side of the spectrum, you look at it already costs a lot of money for these guys to go and get an outfitter to take them on the river, get them up into a spot to fish. If said outfitter can only make
one run a day, and there's only 5 of them doing it, and there's 10 outfitters on this river, and you're putting in for this draw, obviously, number one, the price of the trip's going to go sky high.
Yep.
And there's going to be less opportunity to get up there. So, is that making it harder for the person that wants to get on that body of water? I don't know. I think so, but there's got to be a way that we can start to regulate this maybe a little bit better, and
not just be a free for all, right?
Yeah, don't be a taker. Don't. I call it raping the land. I've used that term with people before, because if you're going to take something, you need to put back.
Right, exactly. And
and I'm not a fisherman, so I really don't know the answer to this question. So.
No, it's valid, because thanks to our DNR, that they go out and they're checking the Saginaw Bay, the regulations, they're checking out all the bodies of water, invasive species.
Sure.
It's one more thing that might have to be looked at down the road, especially if this gentleman is seeing it happen
in his front door.
And relatively quickly.
Right.
It's just, it's taken a few years, but it's happening.
Right.
And if you don't get ahead of the game and figure out how to stop it, you're going to run into a problem where there's going to be nothing.
Yeah. Well, and I guess on the flip side of that coin, there is limits. There's limits to your catch. And
I think right now that's probably where they'll tell us is, you're only allowed so many.
And is this happening on other bodies of water, or is it a localized problem? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a fisherman, so
I don't know that stretch of water that he's talking about. And it's funny, some stretches of water and bodies of water, you might not see anybody.
Yeah.
Or you see 100 people.
Right.
And that's the one thing one thing about this state and getting out there is a lot of streams and a lot of ponds and a lot of water to get to.
Yep, absolutely. So it was just a unique question that
he
posed to us and asked us.
And he just walked up out of the blue.
Yeah, and just like, he got ready to leave. I said, hey, by the way, what species do you chase, whether it be on land or in the water? And he's talking trout fishing. So
right, exactly. So why not talk a little trout fishing?
Yeah, it was an interesting take. So, can we manage our aquatic resources like we manage our land resources?
Right, exactly.
Something to think about. You guys listen to the show, throw it back at us, put it on our Facebook or Twitter page, or send us an email. Let us know what you guys think, and give us your take on it. So
absolutely,
food for thought.
It's always good food for thought. Good conversation starter.
Yeah, absolutely. So hey, we got the camera turned around here on the live stream. You guys can see behind us now. There's the taxidermy display back there, North American game animals.
That's one of them that are in this store, but there's a really cool one out west of the store.
Yeah,
here.
You know what I think we need to do? Let's wrap up the podcast here real quick, and maybe what we'll do is we'll take a little walk, or we'll turn the camera around so these guys in the live stream can see what we're talking about, because I just noticed it a few minutes ago.
And it is a really well done taxidermy display.
Yeah, it is. It is really cool.
Actually, there's a few of them now that we actually sat here, and we've watched kind of the people, and we've also started watching the mounts and the different games. Like, you didn't know in that mural up there, Fred Bear standing there.
Yeah, there's a silhouette of Fred Bear in the woods hunting in this big mural up here. It's incredible. It's just the little nuances that people are telling us that work here in the store that are showing us, and the things that we're finding out on our own just look like we got time to actually sit today and look around a little bit, and it's pretty doggone cool.
Right, exactly. And then, yes, like we did on Thursday, there's a Yeti here.
Yeah, yes. We posed this question before, that we've heard a rumor that in every Cabela's mural in the store, in one of the murals somewhere, they've actually painted a Sasquatch into the mural somewhere.
And it's true. It's been confirmed.
We actually got it confirmed Thursday morning before the store opened.
Right, but we don't know where it's at either.
Yeah, they wouldn't tell us.
So they wouldn't tell us, and they said, good luck. Thanks.
Get into your local Cabelas and start staring at murals.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll draw some attention.
Yes, it will.
So tell Mike and Dan sent you. But I tell you what, for the podcast here, that'll do it for us this week. We're going to hopefully maybe get a couple more little hits here out of the Cabela store to bring you the following week. But a lot of stuff coming, man. It's a good time to be outside. Get outside, enjoy it. Start practice for the archery season here in Michigan. The antlerless deer permit draw is open now, I do believe.
And be safe.
And as always, shoot straight and be safe.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Killer Food Plots,
Cabelas,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls, and
Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.